have this saying, you know, America's getting soft. You know, and that's why I feel like, yeah, we can do this easy with our team.
Would you be biting off more than you can chew by even mentioning the name Canelo? I know there's some beef there.
No,
but
I don't think so.
Because of all these reasons that you're talking about?
I think that Canelo is like a Mayorga.
Wow.
Strong like an ox, but strong doesn't win fights. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. said that, you know, from experience. Punching power does not win fights, not at all.
That's why you like this fight against Belfort, I would assume.
Why not?
Right?
Absolutely. Punching power is not going to win fights.
Boxing.
Has Canelo showed anything new in his past couple of fights since, I guess, the Mayweather fight? Has he showed any kind of new wrinkles at all? Or is he still the same fighter that you were promoting at the time?
Well, I think every fighter progresses, you know, and learns a few tricks here and there. I think he has more punching power. He's stronger. But again, power doesn't win fights, you know, when you're in there with an elite fighter like a Floyd, like myself, like you know, somebody who can see the punches coming.
Bang. Do. We got them shots fired. Oscar De La Hoya says that Canelo Alvarez, he's strong. But Oscar makes it sound like he can beat Canelo's And we're going to talk about all that and more in this video. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang West Side, smash the subscribe button. What's in it for you? I drop daily boxing content, the latest and greatest, all things boxing, the sweet science. This is the one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. A lot of fights coming up. Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, I got some videos on him. Pacquiao's looking fast, Errol Spence, all that and more. Stay tuned to the channel. This video is about Oscar De La Hoya and his ongoing beef or situation with Canelo Alvarez. That's him with one of the other GOATs in boxing, Mike Tyson. Hit the subscribe button, share the video, all that good stuff. Now, you guys heard at the beginning, Oscar De La Hoya was basically saying that he don't think it's a tall order or it's too much to ask to fight against Canelo Alvarez. Wow. So the latest is this: Oscar De La Hoya is coming out of retirement. Let me check to see the actual date, because I don't know. I know he's been retired for like 15 years, but just I have all the features and have it to my disposal. We'll pull it up for you. Oscar De La Hoya record 39-6, fought everybody. Turned pro in 1992. High KO percentage, almost 70%, from East LA. Last fight was Manny Pacquiao in 2008. Wow, okay. So 2008. And he lost, of course, to Manny Pacquiao. And now it's 2021. So he's been out the loop for a minute. And he's coming back. In case you guys live under a rock, haven't heard, it looks like De La Hoya is going to fight Vitor Belfort. Former UFC fighter who had failed with TRT before. And De La Hoya said he wants to fight against Floyd Mayweather in a few fights. So I don't know anything about Vitor's ability to box. He's probably a bit younger than De La Hoya, but De La Hoya is an Olympic gold medalist. So interesting. I don't know how this fight is going to even last, but I made a video about it. They're talking about Teofimo could be on the card. Yeah, so I don't know enough about Vitor, his ability to box or lack thereof or anything, because being an MMA fighter, that's not the same. You know, it's not the same. Now I know Oscar De La Hoya was trying to get George St. Pierre, but the UFC wouldn't release him, so that fight didn't go down. I don't really have much thoughts on this, but this looks like the next person that they got. So regarding the Canelo situation is getting crazy. You know, in the words of Jay-Z featuring Too Short, it was all good just a week ago. Oscar De La Hoya used to promote Canelo. Now he definitely seems a bit salty since Canelo filed a lawsuit and was able to get out of his long-standing pact and career with Golden Boy and become a free agent. This has harpooned and really hurt Golden Boy Promotions, because although they had like rising stars like Virgil Ortiz and Jaime Munguia, and also Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, and Jaime Munguia, they had guys like that. But the big difference is not everyone's ready for the big league ASAP, right? There's quotes from Oscar De La Hoya, and he said basically that they don't want to put Virgil Ortiz basically in there with Terrence Crawford straight away. They have to build to that. So that's more bad news for Crawford. I'll probably talk about that more in another future video, because it's like, who is Crawford gonna fight? Pacquiao's fighting Spence. Oscar's saying that Virgil Ortiz, they're working towards a guy like Crawford, but it's not gonna happen now. And then Canelo left. Ryan Garcia, he's having sick days or whatever he got going on, pulled out of the Javier Fortuna fight. Jaime Munguia, you know, his opponents keep falling apart and pulling out. And then he fought a guy coming off a loss to Gennady Golovkin. So the breadwinner we know was Canelo Alvarez. And I think this has impacted De La Hoya, because since that move from Canelo Alvarez, he really hasn't said nothing nice. You heard the clip at the beginning. He just compared Canelo to Mayorga, who he knocked out. So he thinks it's sweet. He obviously is not feeling Canelo at this given moment, you know, to compare him to a fighter that he fought who was talking trash. And there's a video that came out of Oscar De La Hoya posted it. See, this is the fight. Mayorga was talking a lot of trash, and then Oscar knocked him out. But of course, this was a prime Oscar, right? But the video came out, and Oscar was showing that he's like getting back in shape and about to get back in the ring. And he said, "Yeah, I hear you. Keep talking ish. I'll knock your ass out." And many people believe that was to Canelo. So I don't know. Maybe this whole situation is getting so weird that De La Hoya, you know, is a former fighter and former promoter of Canelo, and then now he's comparing them to Mayorga. I don't really see that stylistically. I don't think Mayorga used to punch himself in the face and stuff. Like he just trying to slight Canelo. That's what I really believe. I think he's just trying to slight Canelo. At the end of the day, I don't think Mayorga really and truly fights like Canelo does, vice versa. I think he's just not feeling Canelo. You know, they have an estranged relationship now, and he's not going to say nothing nice. He was on a social media post, and De La Hoya said Canelo's flat-footed. He's not on his toes enough. He don't have no bounce in his step. He's flat-footed. He basically said he was one-dimensional. He's loading up in shots. He was just critiquing everything Canelo was doing as he was teaching the students. So he was picking them apart from a fighter perspective. And then Canelo responded. I made videos about all this. This is why you guys got to follow the channel, because these are just quick recaps and rehashings of information I've already put out. And you can also see it on the screen. That's why you guys got to subscribe, because you could see in real time. Like, I'm not going to pull up all the screenshots and stuff. When I make these videos, I prepare them for YouTube. So you guys have all the information. You can see it with your own eyes and see all the data points and screen caps and, you know, different things, so you can make up your mind, plus hear my thoughts. So all in all, De La Hoya hasn't said nothing nice about Canelo. A lot of this started after Canelo finally spoke up, and Canelo did an interview with Graham Bensinger, and he said De La Hoya, all he liked to do is drink and party and do drugs, and I've never done drugs. And he said, normally I don't like to talk about people, but De La Hoya is not Golden Boy. Oh, this is Canelo's response. He said, "Go F yourself." you know, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. It's a lot to it. But at the end of the day, this whole situation is getting crazy. Canelo, once he spoke out against De La Hoya, once he spoke out, then it's been like the gloves are off, because he put De La Hoya on blast and said De La Hoya is a drunk and a druggie, and he's not the real Golden Boy. He says there's other people at Golden Boy that really do all the grunt work, and De La Hoya founded the company, so he gets credit, but he says he's not. He says that a ton of PBC fighters and Richard Schaefer, former Golden Boy employee, left Golden Boy. And he said at the time, me being loyal, this is what Canelo's saying. He said, me being loyal, I stayed with them, and I didn't know why everyone left Golden Boy in the dust, and maybe he thought it was disloyal. But he says in that interview with Bensinger, I later understood why everybody left Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, right? So I don't look to see this relationship mended in a while, because it takes two people to be adult, and it takes two people to not be going at each other. So it's kind of hard to calm the situation down, especially unless you have like a mediator or some kind of intermediary person in between the two. And right now, that's not the case. And it was getting bad even when Canelo was still signed with Golden Boy. According to reports, he was only speaking to Oscar De La Hoya via his lawyer or through his lawyer. Like, they weren't having one-on-one conversations. At the press conference, you didn't see them making eye contact. You didn't see them talking. So you could tell Canelo was like stranded on the zone and Golden Boy, and he didn't want to be there anymore. You know, and then it culminated in the lawsuit, as I mentioned at the beginning, and then that was that. Canelo's a great fighter. He says he's strong, and that's basically De La Hoya is making it sound like he's one-dimensional. The other reason why it looks like crying over spilt milk is because he never had these critiques on Canelo Alvarez when Canelo was signed to him. You know, he said a lot of stuff. Bernard Hopkins said as well. B-Hop's not saying as much as De La Hoya, because I don't know if it's as personal, but he's saying, Bernard Hopkins is now saying that Canelo should fight Charlo, and that's a great fight, and he should fight Benavidez, stuff like that. De La Hoya also is saying that Canelo ducked Jamal Charlo. But this is the thing, although this could be true, these two, B-Hop and Oscar, weren't saying this stuff when Canelo was signed to him. So that's the only thing, is you have to be cautious of people who give you the truth when it's convenient for them. Like me, I say what I say, and I give you guys the feedback, and I give you my opinion, and that doesn't waver or change unless I'm changed because I was proven wrong or whatever. B-Hop and Oscar, they weren't critiquing Canelo in the way that they're doing now that he's no longer a part of Golden Boy. Like, Oscar's calling him Mayorga and saying he sucks, and he's saying at an advanced age he can pretty much beat him and knock him out and stuff like that. But you had him signed to you, and you only spoke his praises and sung his praises. So, you know, it's just funny how that works when you're making money with somebody and the bread's coming in and it's facilitating your lifestyle. People don't have these critiques. But as soon as that relationship is frayed or no more, no mas, then all of a sudden people's true feelings come out. Because look at, if you had a friend, like if I had a friend and then we stopped being friends for a period of time and they start saying all this stuff about me and character flaws and what I lack, that's stuff that they were always thinking, but they didn't want to tell you. Because how did you just come up with all these things to diss me with? You see what I'm saying? So De La Hoya, being a promoter, he must have always felt this way about Canelo Alvarez and felt he had certain deficiencies or sized him up. If I fought him in my prime or now, I could still get with him. Because you don't just develop that overnight. You don't. Just look at it. When people have a friendship that it fizzles out for whatever reason, and they start saying a bunch of stuff about you and your character, more than likely, this is stuff they always felt about you, but they kept it below the surface because they had ulterior motives or no reason to let her rip. But then as soon as you guys have beef or whatever the situation is, then it comes out. So You know, it'll be interesting to see what they, listen, I can't even hold you with in the world of Jake Paul and all these dudes. What the hell? In the in the world of Jake Paul and all these social gloves and influence, what the hell? Man, what? Bro, he out here looking like East LA Joe Dirt. What? Joseph Dirt over here. Jose Dirt. Anyway, in with all the social gloves and entertainment novelty fights and things like that, I can't front. I would watch Canelo versus De La Hoya just because it's so weird and it's so personal. I doubt it will happen, but I will watch it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I will watch it. I can't front. I will watch it. And I know you would watch it too. You can say whatever you want about me, but you would watch it too if they really did fight. Now, Canelo, he's a businessman and, you know, he's smart and he got the freedom. He could possibly fight Caleb Plant for undisputed. So I really don't think that he would even want to put that type of money in Oscar's pocket. But when you have a personal disdain for somebody, is that Bernie? When you have a personal disdain for somebody who ain't no telling, you know, the gloves are off. If he really wanted to get with him and Canelo thinks he'll whoop him or something, maybe, you know, maybe it can happen. I don't know. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Use my link to get TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY, awesome way to level up your content, make some money on this platform if you're going to be on here uploading content like yours truly. De La Hoya calls Canelo Alvarez the new Mayorga and basically said he can whoop his. Let me know what you think. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.